Audio check one.
Audio check two.
Audio check one.
Audio check two. Mr. Fisher online if he needs to make a comment. We'll get to that at that time. So, staff?
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I'm Scott Stacy, representing staff. Staff submitted the proposed amendments to 20 CSR 4240-3.190, and with that, supports the amendment. This rule was subsequently amended August 2010. There's been significant changes in energy market operations, metering technology, coal plant retirements, and additions of renewable energy resources. Since then, the proposed amendment was drafted to align with the objective of improving internal processes to more efficiently process electric rates. Staff has proposed one edit to the proposed amendment to reflect a new electrical contact reporting form. It was published on the Commission website on September 24, 2024, as outlined in staff's comment filed in EX-2025-0034 on October 3rd. There's also a 3.190 templates, which is inadvertently was not attached to the memo filing. It was this morning as an attachment A templates. OPC and Effigy filed comments to the amendment on the same date, wherein staff developed a comprehensive list of comments to include OPC and Effigy's comments. This was filed on October 8th, and to assist the Commission in rendering the decision on the rule and additional suggested changes. If you have any questions or comments or questions, staff members Claire Eubanks, Sarah Lange, Sean Lange, and Jay Lubert are here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, Commissioner? Are there any online commission questions? I'll just kind of throw it open. If you don't have any questions, then that's fine. If I don't hear you speak up, I'll just assume there's none. I'm not hearing any. Okay, thank you, Mr. Stacy, and I appreciate staff's summary of the comments. Would OPC like to make comments?
Yes, Lena Mannel's here to make some comments. As you know, Public Counsel filed some written comments, and then there were responses filed in the case to those comments, and Lena Mannel has some explanation and comments to make in response to that, as well as provide any clarification the Commission might want to ask her about Public Counsel's comments.
And just to clarify, that is Nathan Williams speaking.
Yes, Nathan Williams for
Thank you.
Public Counsel. We also have some documents that probably will assist the Commission and maybe should be included in the record as part of Lena Mannel's explanation.
Okay, I can mark those as hearing exhibit 1.
How many copies would you like?
If you could give the chair and I each a copy, and then
Court reporter too?
court reporter, hand one to the court reporter, and then
Whomever out in the audience.
anybody
might want
else
one.
that's here that would like
I think we
one.
have enough to do that.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Would you prefer me to be on the witness stand?
No, you're fine. Okay, and speak from there.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to respond to this rulemaking. As you may or may not know, this rule goes back to the 80s. I actually used data from that was provided through this rule when I was on the Commission staff, and remember boxes of this data being in storage room when I left in 2012. So this data has proved to be very useful in the past, and since 2010, there's been a lot happen, and the rule did need some updating. That the data it provides now is very valuable, but there's more data that would be very helpful as we've gotten markets, energy markets, our utilities very involved in those. And that would be the reason that OPC added to the rule requirements for hourly, day-ahead, and real-time locational market pricing, LMPs. The staff responded that this data is available from other sources. It is. I would challenge anyone to go to the SPP website and try to find it. It's not easy to find. And last time I tried to I downloaded any, it was by day. And it was, yes, it's available. It just wasn't easy to get to. I understand staff is able to get it an alternative way through S&G. They've got a source for it. OPC also has access to that normally, but right now we don't. There's been some problems with our access to that. So we don't have that same access. But the companies do have this information. And it would just be good to have it all in one spot, to have the generation, the hourly generation and the hourly LMPs to come through, come in response to this rule. One of the documents that Mr. Williams handed you has a table on it, and I took staff's table and mostly duplicated what it had its responses to OPC. I tried to make it shorter, but I don't know that I achieved that. I'm not going to go through every one of the OPC's response. Some of them, they made some suggestions that I adopted, and that would be, there's two more handouts. One is a red line strikeout, which is OPC's modified in response to staff's comments, and then the other is with the red line strikeout out, so you can read the rule as it would be. The only other thing that I would like to, there's, I guess, a couple things I wanted to speak to other than the LMP. The other evolution since 2010 has been, and now we have a whole lot of renewables resources. And when these rules were written, thermal was all that was out there that our utilities were using. And OPC put in some requirements. We called it battery storage facilities. Staff proposed a different definition. I'm fine with that. But staff also said, well, let's wait and see. We'll look at these rules again in 2029. The truth of it is our utilities have small pilot programs of battery storage now, and all of them have battery storage in their long-range resource plans. So I don't think it's a good idea to wait. It's better now to start when it's small and see if this is the right information, if the words are correct, and then in 2029 when the rule's reviewed again, then perhaps make some modifications to that. So that's it. I believe that the rule needs to be proactive where it can. And there's one other thing that OPC's proposed to help with that is, and in both of the sections on the provision of monthly data, we propose that language be inserted that allows the commission in a general rate case to order additional information. This is currently in the FAC monthly reporting rule, and how that has worked with the FAC is parties propose in the rate case in their testimony. The company and the party works it out. Usually there's an agreement, yeah, we'll provide this in the monthly reports. But what that's allowed us to do is ask for information that we weren't aware of existed, or it's new information as time goes on, rather than changing the rule to try to get these. It does, being done in a rate case, it does allow the utility to come back and present, no, this doesn't work very good, or you don't have it right. And it does, too, allow for the commission to say, no, that's too much. So it's not just throwing stuff out there and putting a lot more requirements on the companies. And with that, I think I will end my comments, and I appreciate the opportunity to have comments on this rule.
Thank you. Chair Hahn, did you have any questions?
Just one. With additional reporting, one of the things that we really try to look at when we're evaluating rules and whether to move them forward is the cost impact. Are any of the modifications that you're making, what kind of, do you estimate that they would have a cost impact to the utilities that would drive the fiscal note on this particular rule?
Staff did put in their response table information that GADS requires, let's see, on my table on page 4, the bottom right corner talks GADS wind generation, GADS solar generation data reporting instructions. So they list off of things that GADS, which is Generating Availability Data System, that the electric utilities report to NERC. So these are things that NERC requires of them, and it's the same thing that's in this rule. So they're not being asked to keep more than that. And as I said before, the LMP data, they have it. So it's not asking for anything that they don't have. I hate to say lightly that, gee, it should be easy. I don't work for the utilities. But to me, it seems it's there. It would be just part of their normal operating to provide this monthly. And it shouldn't, as far as I know, it shouldn't be a big burden. It shouldn't increase the fiscal cost.
Are there any other commission questions? Don't hear any. Okay, is there anyone else that wished to comment? There's no one else in the room. Is there anyone online that wished to offer any comments?
Judge, this is Jim Fisher on behalf of Evergy. I would just say that Evergy has worked with staff on the rules, and we are generally supportive of the rule as it's published, or it was originally published. And I really don't have any other statement, but if you have questions, I'll try to answer them. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fisher. Any questions from the commission for Mr. Fisher?
Yes, Mr. Fisher, good morning.
Good morning.
I did have your reply to OPC's modifications and requests, and I just asked Ms. Mantle if any of the suggestions that she had made had a fiscal impact. Her response was, you have the data, so shouldn't be cost prohibitive. Do you agree with that?
I don't know that my client has addressed the cost of it. There were a couple small comments regarding the ability to already provide it in kilowatt hour format rather than megawatt hours. And they were concerned about an open-ended, catch-all phrase that the public counsel suggested. But unfortunately, I don't have a dollar amount for either of those. I think it would really depend on what the request was for.
Thank you.
Any other commission questions? Don't see any. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Is there anyone else that wishes to comment?
Yes, staff
ahead.
will just provide just a couple clarifications regarding.
Can you give the court reporter your name?
This
Just
is
so she-
Claire Eubanks with staff.
Go ahead.
There was one comment Evergy just made about megawatt hours versus kilowatt hours. We just wanted to clarify that our agreement is that it would be clearer if it was specified in the rule, but we don't have a preference. It's an easy conversion from our opinion. So if Evergy prefers kilowatt hours for that specific request, I don't think we have a problem with that. And I think, and just to clarify on battery storage, we're not opposed to it being included in the rule now. I'm not clear exactly on the cost impact as I sit here today. But we also offered, we could also wait and look at it in another rule review or when battery storage is added to a utility system. We were trying to specify, though, that we're really interested in battery storage that's interconnected at transmission as opposed to if it's interconnected at distribution for certain parts of the reporting requirements. So hopefully that was clear in our written comments.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Eubanks. Any other responses or comments? All right, then. Looks like that will conclude the rulemaking hearing. We can adjourn. Thank you. Go off the record.